What's up, YouTube? Today at the zoo, we're talking about the Essex Model 7, the newest gun brought to us by the John Wick Ballerina event. Stay tuned, and I'll give you a loadout that'll have you deleting heads like this.
Changing mag.
Let's start with the basics. What kind of gun is this?
Wait a minute! Who are you?
It falls under the marksman rifle category, but if you compare it to the others, it looks like the ugly stepchild. Nearly every stat that matters is worse than every other rifle, until you look at the damage. Here, you can see that up to 25 meters, this thing has a one-hit kill potential, even in Warzone, but you have to hit a headshot. This makes it a little bit more like a regular sniper rifle like the HDR. However, when you compare it to those other snipers, its velocity and range are awful. In order to find the true rival for this gun, we have to look all the way back to Modern Warfare 3 at the Kar 98K.
We were not supposed to leave.
Yes, we were.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!
Looking at all of the stats, it's pretty clear Treyarch was trying to put out their own quick scoping rifle that can compete with the Kar 98K. Let's see how close they got. To do so, I'm going to use this report card. Let's start with the TTK. There's some potential here as we can get a one-hit kill if we get a headshot in the first damage range. Unfortunately, this range is abysmal. Depending on which barrel you go with, you're looking at about 25 to 30 meters, and anywhere after that, you're looking at a 2 to 3 hit kill. One weird quirk about this weapon is that the CHF barrel, rather than just increasing the headshot damage you get, actually increases the area that you can get a headshot with. According to the damage distribution graphic in the gunsmith, we should be getting about 85 damage past that 80 meter range. However, in the firing range, I'm not getting those numbers. I'm getting 102 damage minimum, even out at 100 meters. So if the graphic is right, we should be looking at about a 4-hit kill. However, that doesn't seem to be the case, so I'm just going to ignore it, because if we factored in a 4-hit kill, unfortunately that would be like rubbing salt in the wound. Plugging in our stats to true game data and then manually plotting the Essex, as he doesn't have that one on there quite yet, these are the graphs we get. This first one shows the true potential of this gun if we can land a headshot. Up until about that 25 meter range, this thing hangs with the other one-shotters like the HDR and the Kar, but then after that, it falls off a cliff. This next graph is a little more realistic if you're going to hit torso shots. The Kar and the Essex both have different damages based on whether you hit upper versus lower torso, whereas the HDR and the Grau, it doesn't matter. So I've included 2 lines for the Kar and the Essex, but only 1 line for the HDR and the Grau. Take a look. You can see here, as soon as we're not landing headshots every single time, the Grau is going to outshine all of these weapons. This is due to the inherent slowness of marksman rifles and sniper rifles. In general, snipers and marksman rifles are essentially glass cannons. They have the potential to completely blow everyone out of the water and do some serious damage, but as soon as you miss a shot, or if you're hitting the wrong body part, you're in some trouble. Let's get back to our report card. Overall, the TTK for this thing, I'd give a C. It has a niche where every once in a while you're going to outshine other guns, but in Warzone, consistency is key, and you're not going to find that in this gun. Let's see if its other stats make up for its shortcomings in the TTK department. In terms of the ADS speed, this is where this gun shines. It outclasses the HDR and the Kar, and it's pretty comparable to the Grau. So considering this as a quick scoping gun, I'd give this thing an A. In contrast to that, its velocity and therefore hit scan range is abysmal. The Kar and the HDR are about 1.5 times and 2 times as high respectively. This is going to make hitting our shots much harder, and considering how punishing it is to miss a shot with this gun, I've got to give it an F.
No, 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 no.
Looking at its movement stats, such as strafe speed, movement speed, sprint speed, not really anything to write home about. Very comparable across the board to all the guns, so give it a B. Putting everything together, I'd give this thing a C. It has a niche, and if you're lucky, you could probably get some clips at about that 25-meter range where you absolutely delete people. However, that's not going to be consistent, and more often than not, you're going to be wishing you had a different gun equipped rather than the Essex.
Changing mags.
Got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
All that being said, I was looking at the Essex in Warzone. Let's take a look at it in multiplayer. Over there, it's a totally different story. Multiplayer is where this thing shines. I've never been much of a quickscoper. Even growing up, when my brother wanted to do a quickscoping battle, I would pull out the LMG and cheese it. So take that as you will, but this gun makes quickscoping too easy. Honestly, in multiplayer, this thing feels like it needs a nerf, which is crazy to say after looking at all the stats in Warzone. A lot of content creators are talking about the idea of splitting Warzone off entirely from the annual COD release, and this is a perfect example of why that actually could be beneficial.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go build my own theme park with blackjack and hookers.
Balancing guns between two very different modes is nearly impossible. If you nerf this thing in any way, it's going to be unusable in Warzone. If you buff it, it's going to be even more dominant in multiplayer. So what's the right answer? Honestly, I think they'll probably nerf it. Nobody's using it in Warzone anyway, so if they nerf it, it's not going to make a huge shift over there, whereas in multiplayer, if you nerf it, it'll probably put it more in line with the rest of the guns. Without further ado, here's the build I've been rocking. Give it a spin in multiplayer, but I wouldn't give it a chance in Warzone. If you like this deep dive style video, leave a like. If there's another gun you want me to do a similar video with, leave it down in the comments below and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it when the video comes out. Until next time, keep improving, slow and steady.